Our next lesson is 1.4, integers and absolute value. Remember, you do have a second really short video after this one, so don't worry, this one will be super short. And our objective is we will represent, graph, and order integers, and we will find absolute values and opposites. So let's start by talking about how we use negative numbers in everyday life. We all live in Chicago, so we know that we have experienced negative numbers in the winter, negative temperatures. We get really sad when we hear it's going to be negative 10 degrees out, or a negative 20 with the wind chill, something like that. Another way we could use negative numbers, think about when you're in debt. If you owe someone $10, you'd be negative $10 in debt. We use a lot of negative numbers to talk about certain things. Also think about this picture. Can you think about what that might represent? Well, if you're below sea level, you might be negative 20 feet below sea level. So there's a lot of different ways that we use negative numbers, and we'll talk about if you could come up with any more. So here are the important definitions that you're going to have for your guided notes. Integers. It sounds like a weird word, but it's very simple. It's positive numbers, their opposites, and zero. So first we have to define opposites. Two numbers that are the same distance from zero on a number line in opposite directions. So if we have the number 4 right here, 4 is 4 away from 0. If we go the other direction from 0, we have negative 4. So what we have to do to get an opposite is we take that number. If it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. So if we go back to this definition of integers, all we're doing is taking the positive numbers, then the negative numbers, and 0. So we have no decimals. No decimals, no fractions. Some examples of real-world integers. Well, we just talked about a bunch of negative numbers on the last page. So if you can have negative $10 in debt, you can have positive $10 as well if you earned it. If you have 20 feet below sea level, you can also have 20 feet above sea level. A few more examples of opposites, kind of like what we talked about up there. If we have negative 7, the opposite of negative 7, turn the negative number positive, it would be positive 7. Now here's the definition for absolute value. Absolute value of a number is its distance from 0. And we're going to talk about that one in the next video, so make sure you watch it. So quickly, let's just talk about what are some opposites. The opposite of 4, negative 4, would be positive 4. The negative number becomes positive. 10, the positive number would become negative. Negative 32, we can think about becomes positive, positive 32. Now these absolute value ones, we're going to talk about these in class tomorrow. After you watch the next video, let's go ahead and see what absolute value is and how it's different than opposites. I want you to be able to answer that question tomorrow. Now we also have to compare different numbers and know which ones are bigger and which ones are smaller. I always encourage you to think about degrees. Which one would be colder? If it's colder, it's smaller. So 9 degrees and negative 2 degrees. Well, 9 degrees is warmer, so that would be bigger. We can also think about a number line, 9 and negative 2. Negative 2 is further to the left, so it would be smaller. Negative 4 and negative 5. Well, normally 5 is bigger than 4, but if you think about degrees and temperature, negative 4 is going to be warmer. Look at it on our number line. Negative 4. Oh, that would be a positive 4 right there. So negative 4 would be right here, negative 5 right here. Negative 5 is further to the left. Finally, negative 35 and negative 40. Same thing, think about temperature. Normally 40 is bigger, but when it has a negative sign, negative 39 is bigger. You're also going to have to put them in order. So Alaskan cities, they have lots of very cold temperatures, so we got some negative temperatures here. If we were to put them in order, the most negative would be the smallest. Negative 27 is the most negative. So if we put that one on our number line, negative 27 is going to be the smallest. We can cross that one out. What's the next most negative? Well, looks like negative 10. Any other negative numbers? Negative 5. Then we go to our positive numbers. We're good at putting those in order. We can put 0 right here. Then we have 8 and 10 and 11. So remember, the more negative it is, the smaller it is. Here are your exit pass questions. You can come back to these after you watch the second video about absolute value. It's a really fun one, but make sure you come back and watch and do these exit pass problems.